Hey guys, Jeffries here, and welcome to episode 7 of my Fleetwood Town FIFA 14 career. We are playing against Yeovil in our final pre-season at my version of Highbury. For those of you who don't know, I believe it's still the case that Highbury is the home stadium of Fleetwood Town. I used to always remember the old haha, they're playing at Arsenal joke that people used to say. No, it's in Fleetwood. It's a bit like Exeter have St James's Park. That's another way of looking at it. Obviously, they're opposite ends of the country, Newcastle and Exeter. They're pretty much opposite ends of the country as well, Fleetwood and London. But yeah, we're playing at Highbury against Yeovil. I've no idea what Highbury actually looks like. This is the closest I could get. I wanted a stadium that could look believable in the Premier League as well. So when I inevitably get there, I won't be playing with tin shack roofs and things like that. Likewise, if Fleetwood were to ever get into the Premier League in real life, I imagine at some stage down the road they'd actually expand their stadium. You can't change a stadium on FIFA once you've chosen one, so I chose one that was slightly bigger than normal, just so that it would look more realistic as I go through my career mode. Anyway, we have Adam Campbell in our starting lineup, making his debut. We also have, I believe, Louis Dennis, who I forgot to mention in the last video because I was so busy talking about Bostwick and Hansen. Louis Dennis is a midfielder, right midfielder that I signed on loan from Dagenham. He looked pretty quick. He's got reasonable stats, actually. I believe he's in my lineup, number 25. I'll have to look out for him as the match goes on. The other bit of transfer news I forgot to mention from the last video is I had a bid for... Yeah, there's Dennis. Yeah, sorry. I had a bid for John Ashton, rejected. I put a bid to loan him, and it was rejected by Steerage, and again, I can't really complain about that. However, the new player we've got, Louis Dennis, there, made a really good run down the right-hand side and got a good cross in, and actually, me having said Campbell, not very good in the air, not very tall, he won that header. He actually won that header, and it was very close to going in, and that would have been a perfect dream start on your debut to get a good goal like that. Not to be this time, but never mind, there's always next time. Campbell's pace, you'll notice over these next couple of games, his first few games before he starts getting fatigued, just how much of a difference his pace makes. That was a really good ball through as well. It was a poor touch from Schumacher. Really poor touch. There's a Zog, just picking up some loose pieces, and a good ball down the line there for Dennis to chase. Dennis has also got good pace. I didn't know that until I signed him, so I got quite lucky there. I sort of took a stab in the dark in signing him because I know nothing about him. He seems to be a good choice actually. He's young, he's got potential. He's a bit like what I did with Matt Lecointe on my Barnet career, in that I'm loaning him for now, but I kind of got plans in the back of my head to try and sign him permanently at the end of the season. He looks like a good player. He's definitely got potential. So yeah, I'll definitely be trying to get him on a permanent transfer. That was a good shot. I think that was from Schumacher as well. It deflected initially, and then the keeper had to palm it over again, which, that's quite impressive. Quite pleased with that. A Zog on the corners. I'm not sure if he should be my set piece taker or not. He floats the ball into the box pretty good though, so maybe. That was a good shot as well, which was blocked. I didn't actually see who it was that put that shot in. There's Parkin on the left hand side. Not really sure what he's doing out there. There's Howell with a good ball in, and again, it just needed someone strong in the middle like Parkin to win that. That was just a hit it and see kind of shot there from McLaughlin. Not the best, I'll admit. What have we got now? Campbell on the ball, just overran it a bit there, bit of a heavy touch. I think that was a Zog who won it back. There's not that many topics that I want to talk about in this match, to be honest, so I'm just trying to commentate on the match as best I can. I suppose I can talk a little bit about future plans and players that I want to try and sign. I've already mentioned one of them, Matt Lecointe. I will see what Plymouth value him as, and then see whether it's worth trying to sign him permanently or on a loan. At the moment, I'm thinking a loan, just so I save the money on the transfer fee. That was a good strike from Dennis as well. Yeah, Lecointe is a player that I want him in my team. He's a good midfielder, he's a good attacking midfielder, and he's a really good striker. So he's a utility player. which is exactly what I need as well. Because as well as having pace in my team and a little bit of power up top, I want players who can play in more than one position as well. So I've got players like Junior Brown who can play left back and left midfield. I've got players like Zog who can play defence midfield and centre midfield, and it doesn't actually list him as an attacking midfielder, but I think he'll do equally as well there. Similar with Payne, he's just listed as a centre midfielder, but I think I can play him deep or play him advanced. I might even play Payne up front a couple of times, just so like I was doing for Barnett, because I can't imagine that his appearance, his height and his ability in the air will have changed that much over the last few months. So he could be still a good choice up front. I need more utility players. I need players who can play across the back. I believe Roberts can play at right back, because I think he has a few times for Stevenage in the past. So again, there's a player who can cover that. It's mainly for injuries and suspensions that I want utility players. So if my right back gets suspended, I can replace him for however many matches and then bring him back into the team once his suspension is expired or when his injury's cleared up. Who else do I want to sign? I had a whole list of names and I've completely forgotten them all. I'm trying not to bring as many Stevenage players as I can into it, but they are players that I know. This year though, Stevenage, I'm not as happy with the squad as I could have been, so I don't think I'll be bringing that many of their players in really thinking about it. But if I had a choice of a couple of Stevenage players to bring in, Robin Schrute would be on that list because he plays well in an attacking midfield role. He can also play out wide, left or right if you need him to, and I reckon I'd be able to afford him as well, both transfer fee and wages. Another player, if I had the choice to bring in, is Steve Arnold, the goalkeeper. He's not actually in the team at the moment, which I'm amazed at because in the times I've seen him, he seems to be a really good goalkeeper, and he's young as well, so there's a lot of potential and a bright future ahead of him. And one other player who, for me, is an unrealistic transfer. It probably might never happen, but if it was to happen, I'd be happy, is Luke Freeman, because he's young, he's quick, he's got good skills, he's quite a good striker of the ball, he's a free kicks taker, and he's a good winger, which I need good wingers to create good chances for my good strikers. So yeah, he'd be a player I'd look to bring in as well. The rest of the Stevenage team I'm not too happy with. So it'd be those three players. It would be I've got him said now. Schrute, Arnold, Freeman. That's the ones. Other players who I want to bring in. Obviously, I would look at the Barnet team if they were on this game. But obviously, they got relegated at the end of last season, so they're no longer on FIFA for this year at least, which is a shame. However, another team who I very nearly started a career mode as, but I thought it might be a bit too obvious who I'd choose in that case, was Portsmouth, because I think it's for the first time in a long time they're actually in the bottom division of the Football League. And they're doing a rebuilding job at the moment. They've got some good players playing for them though. But if I was to choose a couple of players from there, I would choose Bonzangala, the centre back, who can also play right back, because again he's young but he's strong and he's good in the air. He's actually a good centre back. I don't really know how he's ended up at Portsmouth, because he was at Stevenage last season and was playing well, but obviously the manager just didn't like him very much. Other Portsmouth players, there's a right back who plays for them called, I think it's Darren East or Darrell East. He's number 4 for them, or he is on FIFA anyway. He plays right back and centre midfield, and he's a good player as well. Jed Wallace is another player from Portsmouth who I'm a fan of, and Ashley Harris. I'm a massive fan of Ashley Harris. He seems like a really good young bright star of the future. I don't think there's many more transfer targets apart from those guys really. They'll basically complete my team. I could end up with, if I was to sign all my chosen players, I'd end up with Arnold in goal, obviously. I'd end up with Roberts and, is it Russell? Who's my other centre back? They just won the ball there. I will look up my players' names, guys. I promise. I'll do a special video for it as well at the end of the transfer window, so you can all see what my squad is. they'll be playing as my wing backs anyway, and then I will have Howell or Junior Brown at left back, and Gala or McLaughlin at right back, and then I'll have the pair in the middle of Boswick and Azog, and then as the advanced midfielder I'd have Shroot, and then on the right hand side I would have Jed Wallace. No, I wouldn't. No, I tell a lie. On the right hand side I'd have Luke Freeman. On the left hand side I'd have Jed Wallace, and then up top I would have oh, that's an interesting one. Who would I have up top? Probably I would keep with David Ball, and then have Campbell as a backup choice, and I would also have Payne as a third choice, but Payne would also obviously slip into the midfield as and when needed. That's my dream team for this level of football anyway. Obviously I've got a better dream team for as I move higher up the leagues, and I'd like to make that a reality if I can, but I need the money to do that, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get the money anytime soon, so I'm going to have to go on a good cup run and maybe get a promotion before I get the funds in order to sign all those players. However, I will look through the loan market. I will do my best to try and sign as many players as I can off that list. And yeah, it's just I hope I get lucky, and I hope they want to join me, and I hope they do join me. And then we'll have a really good run for the league this season. If not, then I guess I'm just going to have to make do with what I've got. But I'd like to try and shift as many of the old Fleetwood players on as possible. I've got nothing against Fleetwood, you know. I think they are good players. They'll probably be really suited to Fleetwood for real. But because I don't know them very well, that's the sole reason really why I don't want to play as them, because I don't really know them very well. I guess that's quite small-minded of me really, because I could just take the time to get to know them, but I like to hit the ground running as the season kicks off, so try and sign as many players as I know, and as many as I can, so that by the time we come to the first league game of the season I'll have at least a couple more players in, and by the time we get to the end of the transfer window I'll be pretty much satisfied with my squad. What's going on now? We're still 0-0 with Yeovil. We've passed half time, of course. We're in the 65th minute. Just won a corner, which is Oak. That's actually a good corner, and that was a good chance from Dennis, I believe that was. Who actually, he looks like a good right winger as well. I can end up with a difficult choice as to who plays where at this rate, which would be quite interesting, because I don't think I've ever had that on FIFA before. No, I don't think I've ever had that on FIFA before. I normally like to keep small squads for that reason, so I don't end up with unhappy players who want to leave. Because that's quite frustrating, especially when you drop them for 1 week and they start going on about they're not getting enough game time. It's like, well, you know, you played last week and the week before, and you're probably going to play next week. So I don't know what they're moaning about. Anyway, that was a good shot from that throw-in. Yeah, I really am running out of things to talk about during this game. Obviously, I know the result of this match. You guys don't know the result yet. It could be anything. It could be a 5-0 romp for all you know. But until something exciting happens, I'm just going to have to keep talking about transfer targets and future plans. Another factor I haven't really considered is players coming through the youth system. Because obviously if I end up with the dream team that I've already said about, and then a good striker comes through my youth academy, it makes life very interesting again, because then I have to try and fit them into it, because I always try and bring as many youth players into the team as I can. For, you know, they're quick, they're technically gifted, which is what I've searched for with my youth scout. I don't know whether this is built into the game engine or not, but I tend to think, for real, if a player's just come through the youth academy, they're always playing as though they've got a point to prove and they've got real ambition and determination to do well. So to bring them into the team, it sort of injects fresh belief into the game, which I think that kind of goes missing halfway through the season, particularly if you're not having a brilliant season. You kind of want to bring youth players through just to sort of give your team a kick up the backside and get them going again. I hope by the end of the season I'll have at least 2 players come through the youth academy. That's the goal. It also allows me to move more players on, sell or loan, get a bit more money in that way, because a majority of the time a player who's come through the youth academy is on about £500 a week, and if they're just as good, if not better, than a player who's on £2,000 a week, I know who I'd rather have in my team. So it's a case of, you got to get the balance right, because you can't have a team made up entirely of youngsters, because eventually you're going to need some experience and just a bit of age and strength in order to win aerial duels. And just like, again, I'm talking about real life. Like, you'll have a youngster who shoots from 18 yards or 20 yards or 30 yards or whatever. Sometimes you want an experienced head who knows not to shoot from that kind of distance, because it would be better if they passed into the box. And I think that's something that my team's missing. In general, actually, I think that's something my team's missing at the moment, is just a bit more maturity and responsibility about them, like decision making. And I suppose it's my fault really, because I'm the one controlling the team. But having said that, when I press the shoot button, it's then at the discretion of the game as to how the shot actually goes. And maybe it's built into the game. I have no idea whether it is or not. I don't know whether anyone can tell me or not. But whether an experienced player would know what kind of shot to hit, and a youngster just hits a shot of any kind to try and get a goal. I realise now I'm rambling quite a lot. But luckily this match has come to an end, so I can stop talking soon. This won't happen again. There won't be another video this long, I don't think. It'll be all highlights from now on. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, guys. Next time, we'll be continuing to rebuild the team, and we'll be getting ready for the season. So until then, guys, I will see you soon.